Every American needs to see what just happened inside the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Van Hollen took FBI Director Kash Patel to task over the sudden removal of counter-espionage agents.
Do you know that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that? That's my last question.
I have not lied to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
Lied to Congress is you.
Do you? I'm not testifying here, sir, and I don't lie.
Maybe the next time you run up a $7,000 bar tab, we can talk about it.
Well, see, there you go, lying again. You suggested
in the FEC report. I'll post it right now.
You suggested it was public. It wasn't public money, as you know. That was for a 50-member staff party.
So it was a $7,000 bar tab.
That it is a crime to lie to Congress. Do you know that?
I do not lie to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
And you're insinuating that I am because
I asked you whether you know.
You want to correct your time in this session where you got steamrolled by the facts so you can have a Twitter narrative so you can go raise more money and spend more money on $7,000 bar tabs.
Just let the record show,
I'm not going to give it
Chairman,
to you.
The director of the FBI apparently does not want to answer the question about whether or not it's a crime to lie to Congress, and I find that extremely troubling.
I find it troubling that you lie to the American people every day.
You are a disgrace, Mr. Director.
Not nearly as big as you.
The fact that you can't answer that question, I will.
Watch how this intense confrontation inside the Senate Judiciary Committee unfolds from start to finish.
I want to start with a question that Senator Coons asked you that relates to this article where the headline is Kash Patel's latest firings ousted agents with expertise in Iran. The article says that these individuals were fired for their role in the classified documents investigations of Donald Trump. First of all, is that true?
The article, just like all the other articles you cited, is false, and there's ongoing litigation, so I can't address it.
Okay. You did answer Senator Coons, and I understood your answer to be that the people that were fired, that none of them were part of the group that had Iran expertise. Is that your answer?
No, he asked if they were Iran experts. I said they were not.
Were the group fired? Did it include people who were Iran experts?
No.
Did it include people who were involved in counter-espionage activities with respect to Iran?
I don't have the list in front of me.
So you don't.
The most revealing moment of this testimony is happening right now. Director Patel claims he terminated anyone weaponizing the Bureau, but couldn't verify if Iran espionage experts were among them. Ask yourself, can congressional oversight function properly when key national security personnel are removed without clear records? Share your perspective in the comments. Senator Van Hollen pushes even harder. Watch carefully as Patel tries to explain temporary immigration surges.
So you don't know whether or not you fired people with counter-espionage experience with respect to Iran. You don't know the answer to that question.
I terminated anyone and everyone that weaponized law enforcement.
I see. So it was related, obviously, to the classified documents case. So
that's not what I said.
Well, Director Patel, I understood you to say in response to Senator Murray, that you've not redirected FBI resources toward the immigration enforcement effort.
That's not what I said.
Okay. Have you redirected resources away from your core FBI responsibilities toward the mass deportation effort?
No one at the FBI has been permanently reassigned on the immigration front, and when we pull the numbers, the FBI's overall operational field expenditures surged periodically for immigration enforcement activities, including the arrest of 2,000 people with direct ties to foreign terrorist organizations, was 2.4%.
So, okay. So the key word there, I guess, was permanently. You have not permanently reassigned. Is that what you reassigned temporarily?
Surges, yes, sir.
Okay.
Notice how the word permanently did all the heavy lifting in Patel's answer. He denied redirecting core FBI resources, yet confirmed field expenditures surged for immigration enforcement. Even temporary reassignments mean critical cases like counterterrorism and cyber threats go unworked. Ask yourself, does labeling a resource shift as temporary really change the risk to American citizens? Sound off in the comments below. Pay close attention as Van Hollen turns up the heat on Patel's credibility.
Have you had a chance to listen to or read about Brian Driscoll's statements about what you said to him and the reasons for his firing?
No, I have not, sir.
So let me just say this, Mr. Director. In your response to me earlier, where you had a little bit of a blow-up, you made a couple provably false statements.
So did you.
No, Mr. Director, I was reading about and asking you to respond to allegations that are made. In fact, I was giving you an opportunity to do that, and you took that opportunity. But in the process, you made these provably false statements that I know are sort of like urban legend in right-wing media about margaritas in El Salvador, which is provably false. And so coming from the mouth of an FBI director to make provably false statements in a hearing like this is extremely troubling. And it leads me to ask whether or not the other things you've been saying are false statements. And so because that's a provably false statement. You made a couple others that are provably false. And this is from the mouth of the FBI director.
The only one that made false statements is you.
My final question.
Van Hollen used the phrase provably false 3 times in that statement, not just for emphasis, but to establish a legal record. There is a massive difference between a simple mistake and a provably false statement backed by official records. Van Hollen was not saying Patel had a different opinion or interpretation. He was saying Patel made statements that can be checked against hard evidence and shown to be incorrect. That is a distinctly serious accusation to make about the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in an open hearing. The reference to El Salvador might seem like a minor detail, but it highlights a much larger issue. A widely circulated claim about conditions inside El Salvador's CCOT prison facility became a flashpoint in public debate about the administration's deportation policies. Van Hollen was telling Patel directly that he had repeated that claim as if it were fact when the underlying evidence does not support it. The FBI director is not a cable news commentator. When he repeats something at a Senate hearing, it carries institutional weight. Getting it wrong is not a small thing. Instead of clarifying the facts, Patel immediately turned the accusation right back on the senator. How can public oversight function when documented errors are met not with facts, but with immediate deflection? In this next clip, the confrontation reaches its boiling point as the questioning turns directly to federal law.
My final question to you, Mr. Director, is do you know that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that? That's my last question.
I have not lied to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
Lied to Congress is you.
Do you?
And
I'm not testifying here, sir, and I don't lie.
maybe the next time you run up a $7,000 bar tab, we can talk about it.
Well, see, there you go, lying again. You suggested
in the FEC report. I'll post it right now.
You suggested it was
Hang
public.
on.
It wasn't public money, as you know. That was for a 50-member
Oh,
staff party.
so it was a $7,000 bar tab.
Mr. Patel, I'm glad. Let me just say in closing, Mr. Chairman, 2 things. I'm glad that you have agreed to take the test regarding, whether you have alcohol problems. I'm glad you agreed with me to do that. You still haven't answered my final question. Do you know, Mr. Director, that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that?
I do not lie to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
And you're insinuating that I am because
I asked
you want
whether you know.
You want to correct your time in this session where you got steamrolled by the facts so you can have a Twitter narrative so you can go raise more money and spend more money on $7,000 bar tabs.
Just let the record
I'm not
show,
going to give
Mr.
it
Chairman.
to you.
The director of the FBI apparently does not want to answer the question about whether or not it's a crime to lie to Congress, and I find that extremely troubling.
I find it troubling that you lie to the American people every day.
You are a disgrace, Mr. Director.
Not nearly as big as
the fact that you can't answer that question.
4 times Van Hollen asked the exact same question, and 4 times Patel refused to answer. The law is plain as day. Lying under oath to Congress is a federal crime that carries prison time, and any official in that chair knows it. But instead of confirming a simple fact, Patel turned the floor into a brawl over campaign expenses. That isn't confusion. That is a deliberate refusal on the official record. That choice tells you something important about what kind of hearing this was. When a witness cannot bring himself to affirm that a law exists, the oversight process itself is being treated as a performance rather than a responsibility. Congress's power to conduct oversight depends entirely on witnesses answering honestly and completely. When that compact breaks down, it does not just affect one hearing. It sends a signal to every agency, every director, every official watching that stonewalling works. The debate over the bar tab served as a convenient distraction from the core issue. Because while viewers were tracking the back and forth about a campaign expense, the original unanswered question was still sitting on the table. That is not coincidence. A chaotic exchange is far easier to walk away from than a direct, documented refusal to answer. Patel got the chaos. Van Hollen got the unanswered question on the record. Brian Driscoll, whose name surfaced earlier and then disappeared just as quickly, is someone worth watching. Driscoll was a senior FBI official whose departure drew significant public attention. He publicly described his firing in terms that directly contradicted Patel's stated reasoning. Patel told the Senate he had not heard those statements. For the head of a 35,000-person agency, claiming ignorance of such high-profile statements raises critical questions. The core problem here is how congressional oversight can function when top officials refuse to cooperate. The Senate Judiciary Committee does not have the authority to compel truthful answers in the same way a court does. It can hold someone in contempt. It can refer a matter to the Justice Department, but the Justice Department is run by the same administration whose FBI director just declined to confirm that lying to Congress is illegal. The feedback loop is not lost on anyone paying close attention. What this means for the future of government oversight, for the leaders who face it, and for the public institutions meant to uphold the law is an issue that will outlast this single hearing by a long margin. But where do you stand? Should federal officials be held to the exact letter of the law under oath, or does Washington play by its own rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. To support our mission of preserving these official archives and bringing real government accountability to light, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.